Fairies just got a whole lot more powerful thanks to the Luck, Death, and Flowers mod by Caillou. Yes, we're back with part 2. We've got one more part after this, so if you want to stay tuned, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. But today we're going to be covering all the features that have to do with fertility. Now, last part I covered 2 of the features that are in the fertility realm. It was the Borrowed Womb and the Gift Changeling. So today we're going to go over the last 5 fertility features within this mod. But again, we have part 3 coming after this to wrap this entire mod series review up. But without further ado, let's get into today's mod review. Alright, so I got my test subjects here today. We've got Yvette, of course, our fairy today, and then I also imported these other Sims, Grayson and Lillian. If you've been following my channel for a while, we have used these Sims a couple of times, okay? And today we're going to be going over the fertility features in this mod. So the first one is the Gift of Seed. This one has to do mainly with my female Sims, but it can be used on any Sim, and it basically allows your Sims to impregnate others. So Yvette will need to go into her ability side, her fairy abilities, and get this manifest seed. Once she has this ability, we will go ahead and check it. And now she can go over to a Sim that doesn't have the ability to impregnate others and click on this Sim. We're going to go down to the fairy section, go to fertility magic, and then hit the Gift of Seed. Now, Yvette will hopefully swiftly make her way over here. Yep, there she goes. She gives up the power. And now Lillian has the ability to impregnate others. Now, an easy way to test this is if you go to MC Command Center and you go down to MC Pregnancy, she won't have the ability to get pregnant because she now has the ability to impregnate Sims. If we go into Modify Household, it will even say in Create a Sim, get others pregnant, and that's how you know that it did work. So I think this is a pretty great storytelling feature in the game. It is based on Fae folklore about like getting the fertility blessings, and I really love it because it is very inclusive to like any Sim. So maybe you have a storyline that your Sims are maybe same sex and you want one of them to be able to get the other pregnant, or whatever it is that you're trying to go for. You can now have a fairy be able to grant another Sim, any gender, the ability to impregnate another Sim. So I think it's a really great, feature for the game. It definitely adds a new level of storytelling depending on what you're doing. But this next feature goes right in with the Gift of the Seed, and it is the Gift of the Womb. I'm sure within the name of it, you can probably get context clues that this is a feature that allows your Sims to become pregnant. So it basically gives them a womb, so then they can get pregnant. So this, again, goes for any gender. So now that we're back in the game, it actually lines up perfect that Grayson is in this area because using the same fairy ability, the Manifest of Seed, make sure you're rank 3 for both the Gift of Seed and the Gift of the Womb. We're going to click on Grayson and go down to the Fairy Pie menu, go to Fertility Magic, and we are going to click on the Gift of the Womb. Yvette will then do her little magic. She's always doing something. Just do your little fairy magic. There we go. And then once she does the little magic, we can go ahead and click on Grayson. And again, to test this, we can go to MC Command Center, MC Pregnancy. He'll have the ability to get pregnant, as well as going into Modify Household. He's now got the ability to become pregnant. So going back into the game, this perfectly ties in the Gift of Seed and Gift of Womb for that Fae folklore, fairy, blessings in the Sims. Now, if you are sitting here being like, well, Caroline, maybe I want to swap it. Can you do that? Of course, you can just click on Grayson again, go to the fairy panel, and then go back to Fertility Magic and do the Gift of Seed. We can also do this on Lily Ann as well. So if you wanted your Sims to revert back to whatever they were at before, you can do that. Again, it works for any gender, any Sim, whatever storyline you're going for, you can now do it with these 2 options. Again, we can go back to Lily Ann and give her the Gift of Womb back. So I thought it was really cool. I love this feature. I think it is pretty cool depending on like what gameplay you're doing, that you now have the option to have whatever Sim get pregnant or have the ability to impregnate other Sims. really nice for, you know, those storylines that we're all doing. Anyways, the next one is the Sterile Bloom feature, okay? This one does require rank 3 on the fairy rank, as well as the manifestie, which we already have. Now, I think this works on both sims because it is that sterile in the name of it. They're basically sterile. They will not be able to become pregnant or get others pregnant. So it is the opposite of the gift of seed/womb, but it lets fairies control the natural fertility cycle, as well as helps balance the gameplay if your world is becoming a little too packed, you know, maybe a little too overpopulated, or maybe you're just trying to do a storyline where your sim is not, you know, pregnant. I know with RPO, the mod, you can have a feature to sterilize your sims if they're done having kids, but maybe you want to do it through a fairy and have them get sterilized that way, or maybe your sims just don't want kids. I could go on and on about the reasons for that choice, but if you go back to the fairies and go to fertility magic, I can do this Sterile Bloom. If Yvette wants to come back up. She's always doing something whenever I'm trying to explain something. Anyways, Yvette will do her little pixie dust fairy thing. And I guess you dislike optimistic sims? No. And then Lily will be sterile now. And they don't like each other, obviously. So I'm pretty sure you also can revert this, I think. Yes, I'm pretty sure if you click on Gift of Womb again, it will like reset it, I think. Like, she'll be able to get pregnant again. So, yeah. But you can do it for either sim. Doesn't matter, you know, what, you know, gender they are, you can sterile them if you wanted to do that. So, the next thing we move on to is the fourth feature, which is the Withered Womb. This acts as a high-level defensive spell. So this one I'm gonna have to talk through because it kind of confused me at first, but I got it. You're gonna need to be rank 5 for this with the Manifest Seed ability that we have. You're gonna be able to click on a sim, whatever sim that might be. We'll do Lillian again, fertility magic, and this Withered Womb right here. Now, what it does, okay, before I click this, it basically protects a sim from all fairy fertility magic. If you use this Withered Womb, if they are pregnant, it will then delete the pregnancy and protect them from any future fairy magic. So if my sim wanted to perform fairy magic on Lillian and she had that Withered Womb spell on her, she would not be able to be affected by any of Yvette's fairy fertility magic that she will be trying to use on Lillian. If they're not pregnant, it won't delete anything. It just will protect them from any spells, but they still can get pregnant. And even if your sims are pregnant and you have that spell and they lose that pregnancy and they get that pregnancy deleted, they can still get pregnant afterwards, if I am understanding that correctly. So basically, I'm just going to click on Lillian again, and I'm going to do the Withered Womb. And this will protect Lillian from any future spells that Yvette might want to place on her. So any positive or negative ones, she will not be affected when it comes to the fertility magic. See, I can't use any of it because she is guarded by fairy magic. So there's a few reasons why this actually does make up for some great gameplay. Because when you use it, it's for like protected characters. So like lore-based infertility or dramatic pregnancy storylines. Maybe you don't want fairies, you know, inflicting any of their magic on your sims. You can make sure that they're protected and won't be affected by anything. Now, granted, NPC sims, you know, doing, you know, fairy magic, I have not had that happen, but maybe you accidentally click something and it gives your sims a fairy, you know, ability magic. You might not want that to happen, so you can then protect them from that. Also great for storyline to say, oh, this sim's protected. They will not be, you know, interfered with any fairy magic. Anyways, that brings us to our last and final pregnancy fertility feature in this mod. Now, I thought this was really cool because it reminded me of RPO with the ivy. What are you doing, Yvette? Absorb emotion. Oh my god. Me literally sitting here being like, oh, I've never had an NPC use fairy magic on me. Yvette's going around doing it to others. Now I see why we have the Withered Womb. She could just be inflicting whatever on anyone. Anyways, going back, this reminded me of RPO, this next one, which is the Bloom of Life. This is a really big one because there are a few things that you need to note about this one, but it is kind of like an IVF system. You can click the Bloom of Life on another sim with your fairy and basically be able to have that sim be pregnant and choose their parents. So again, that IVF system, I could have Yvette click on Lillian, and then from there, I could pick Grayson or whoever partner to impregnate Lillian, and then she's pregnant. So a couple things you need to know about this. You need to have the manifest seed, which we have. You will also need to have the influence relationship to be able to manipulate relationships level 2. So you will need the influence another relationship, okay? So now that you've got that, the next thing you will need are some traits. Now, I'm going to go over how you get these traits because I was a little confused at first, but I found an easy way to actually get the traits that you need. So there are 5 ways that you can get the ability to use this feature, okay? And those traits that one of the traits that you will need, I looked it up for us. So number 1 is the High Fae lineage. This is inherited when 2 fairy parents have a baby and it is obtained that way, and it allows the sim to eventually become a fairy themselves. This other one is the Sulani Mana. This is a hidden inherited trait from the Island Living Pack, and it sims with this trait can bless plants and summon volcanic lava, but it is passed down to children of the island elementals, a special NPC that a sim can have a baby with after befriending. The next one, which is the easiest one in my opinion, is the Matriarch and Patriarch. This is the reward trait earned by completing the Big Happy Family. This is the way that I've been doing it when I play tested it. I just had my sim get the Matriarch trait and they were able to get the Bloom of Life. The next one is a Vicarious. This is a hidden trait, but I believe it is a mod specific trait, so you would need to download a mod for that, as well as the Heart to Heart. I believe this might be a mod. It says it's not in The Sims 4, but then again, it could be wrong. But this is another way that you can get it. But I've been using this one right here because this is the easiest. Because what you're gonna do, and if you've learned anything from my channel, this is a safe space to cheat. We're gonna go to aspirations, go down to family, Big Happy Family, click on that. And then you're just gonna right click it using UI cheats. And then it should grant you that Patriarch or that Matriarch trait right here. Now that we've got that loud music coming in, we're gonna go back down to Lillian. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this spell off of her because I can't do anything with this. Hold up. Okay, this is a buff. So it lasts for 3 days, but I'm just gonna delete it and see if that works because I'm kind of screwed if this doesn't work. Okay, there we go. So the Withered Womb thing lasts for like 3 days. So it's not a forever thing, but I know I'm like past the Withered Womb and I'm talking about it. I'm all over the place today. But we're going to go to Fairies. Then we're going to go to Fertility Magic, Bloom of Life. Lillian is not pregnant, so it won't cancel out her pregnancy, but we'll do Grayson. We'll be nice. We won't cause any drama today, and she can go upstairs and do this little fairy magic. Where is Yvette? Okay, I swear, she's so distracted today. She'll fly, get in a little fairy form. Then Lillian is hit with whatever. Now she's emotionally starving, Yvette. But now she should be pregnant. It doesn't come up with any pregnancy tests, but if you go to MC Command Center and go down to MC Pregnancy, you will see that she is pregnant. So it does take, I guess, a day or two to really like hit, and she's going to the bathroom. I feel like I'm invading your privacy, Lillian. I'm sorry. But like I said, it takes like maybe like a day to like register like for the bump wise, but she is pregnant. So that was a pretty cool one because if you again are trying to get a sim pregnant, but maybe you want to go for the more occult style of things, you could have a fairy basically give them the bloom of life, which I thought was very cool. Again, reminded me of RPO with the IVF thing, because it's essentially how you do it, but this time with the fairies, you get it for free. Anyways, that is about it for today's part 2 of the Luck, Death, and Flowers mod by Caillou. Definitely go and check it out, because this mod with playing with it has gotten me back into fairies. Like, just the overall like gameplay and the time and effort into all these features is just insane. We still have another part to go through, so there's even more features coming your way. But let me know down below which feature was your favorite. I apologize if I was kind of all over the place with some of these features. I just tend to get too excited with these features, so I kind of forget to go over the points that I wanted to make, but I think we did good today. Anyways, let me know down below which feature was your favorite. Also hit that subscribe button so that you can be here for when part 3 drops. And with all that being said, thank you all so much and happy simming, and I will see you all later.